I'm co-founder and CEO of Heedify, and we are a young company. So we are a startup, right? So we have three years old, and we came with Microsoft Teams, right? So the main reason why we created Heedify is for two main reasons, actually. The first one was clearly Teams is the future for the unified communication, right? So our belief, and it's being confirmed slowly, it will be the outlook of the unified communication. And in another side, we see the market still lacking complete product. Frankly speaking, things are progressing everywhere, right? But we have seen an opportunity and lack of a product that would be really deeply integrated to Teams and that eliminate a lot of problem we used to see in Skype for Business and Link, right? So something which is natively cloud without a lot of prerequisite, a lot of integration effort, and something that should be really flexible, right? And I believe we're close to this, right? We still have a lot of things to do, but that was the main idea, right? So a product deeply integrated to Teams, and that reduce a lot of problem that we have seen in the past with Skype. The other point, which is quite important, and I think as a UC professional, you have seen this multiple times, that company moved to Skype for Business and company moved also to Link first and to Skype for Business, but they kept their call center in an old UCCX, right, or an Avaya or whatever. We have seen this multiple times for two main reasons, right? So because contact center is a critical workload, right? And the market was absolutely not ready. So solutions that exist are very complex, expensive, but does not bring really the expected level of reliability and of feature set, right? So what we are targeting and our mission is really to empower any organization that invested in Microsoft Teams, right, to bring everything, right, so including the customer experience part to Teams, and then have just one solution for the communication, which would be Teams for any traffic, right? So those are the big let's say our mission we define for ourselves and what we do. And if I go probably more in details about the products that we have, customer experience suite, it includes for this it include actually an attendant console, right, and a contact center solution, right? So it includes all the classic feature from the contact center, so the an advanced routing, real-time monitoring, analytics, recording, and all those regular feature, right?
Yep.
So I don't know which other aspect of the product or of the company would interest you first, but I would say that's at least the very high level introduction.
Yeah, cool. So I can see from your website, your product, that you have essentially three products. You have Attendant Console, you have Teams Call Center, and you have Teams Contact Center.
Yeah.
Are these voice-only contact centers, or do you incorporate omni-channel at all? Or is that roadmap, or is that available today with the contact center?
Yeah, absolutely. So those are not really the product, that as are let's say the license level, right? So the product is the suite is exactly the same, right? It's running the same way, the same client. We do have the cheapest way, the level, let's say, is you want to manage a call center, so it's called call center actually, and you have just one channel, which is the voice, right? Or you can use more advanced feature on your client, and this is basically around contact management, external or internal contact management. You can add note on a contact and regular let's say what receptionist you use, right, with a very well and very easy to use call management feature. that's the second level of the license, which is the attendant, right? And then you can do a multi-channel, right? And for the moment, we do support 3 channels, right? So the chat, for sure the VoIP, the chat, and the web chat, right? So we have work in progress for the SMS, but that would be really that will evolve actually with our customer base, right?
Okay. And in terms of your architecture, I can see from the screenshot that you've got here, it looks like it's an app baked in with native Teams call controls. So are you using the Graph API, and Teams to do your call routing, or do you have a different? How is your architecture sort of spread out? You using call queues and just putting IVR on top of them, or if you have a completely separate cloud and it's a DR, is it what's it called? The Microsoft Teams Connect.
The Connect model. No, absolutely not the Connect model, because we believe, well, we are 100% based on Graph APIs, right? So two parts. We do have the agent client, which is the Heedify application in Teams Store, right? And that uses a lot of Graph APIs for the presence, for the contact, for the calendar integration, and all those aspects that the agent would need in his interface. And from a backend perspective, we are also 100% based on Graph APIs, meaning customer need to create a resource account on their tenant, right? And that resource account is linked to one application on our cloud, right? And then we manage everything based on Graph APIs. That brings a lot of flexibility for us, to do all the routing we can do, but also, it reduces the amount of time you need to set up the solution. So it's you frankly need 13 minutes, right, to have everything set up. That one aspect. The second aspect is we absolutely don't use any call queue or to attendant from Teams. The only thing we need from Teams is a resource account that will map the ID, and that give us the full control on the call flow. We can do whatever we want, right? And give us some advantage, by the way, compared to other solutions who combine those things. For example, to simply just put a call on hold. If you do this, you cannot do that. You cannot deliver that feature. So having control 100% on the call flow give us a lot of flexibility, and we can simplify the solution as we want, right?
Yeah, and your app that gets sideloaded, I know with other contact centers who have Microsoft Teams apps, if you go out of focus on an app, you have to sign back in, and it's a bit of a lag getting back into the app. Does yours stay completely signed in so people can flick between your app and normal Teams apps?
Yeah, that's unfortunately the pain for everyone, and so today we cannot do better, but I believe it will be in few months. It will be possible. Where we are going today, we built a frankly flexible backend where we can manage the calls. We have multiple way to manage those the call flows. We can do routing based on skills, on a lot of those classical things, but you can do routing based on time, based on regex, based on a lot. So the backend itself and our system, to do the monitoring to do reporting is quite well done for the so what we'll be doing to resolve this issue, related to having two interfaces, is we'll be using Azure Communication Services, which is still in beta, but we'll be using this to have our own endpoint, and hopefully that will remove this issue, right? But for the moment, we are just we have the same issue everyone have when you use Teams, right?
One of the aspects of, one of the most important features for contact center supervisors is the ability to monitor their staff. Do you have the ability to bring supervisor controls such as your barging, whisper listening type functionality?
Today we do some of those features, to be very frank, right? So, but it's we're not very happy with them. It's very comparable, to what you can see in the market, but it will be again in hopefully in the very near future much more convenient for the agent and for the user. A typical case is when the supervisor is need actually or hit the button, to listen to what's happening between the agent and the customer. Today we don't have yet control to remove the agent from the toast, right? So the supervisor, sorry. So the agent may see that the supervisor in the call, and that's not what optimum, let's say, for the contact center field. But yes, we do have those features technically, but we are really jumping on any new change on the API to enhance it, right? And we do have information from Microsoft that this is coming, right?
Yeah, cool. And the other bit that's important for supervisors, obviously reporting as well. So real detailed reporting on key KPIs. So do you have your own reporting dashboard, or do you use customers' Power BI? How does reporting get surfaced to the customers?
Yeah, sure. So the reporting is probably one of the first thing we tried really to simplify and to deeply integrate to our solution. So what we do is, as I mentioned in the beginning, we are controlling 100% of flow, right? So we are writing data for any single event that happens on that call. So we have quite rich CDR on our end. And then what we do is we are using Power BI on our end to generate reports. And then that Power BI is embedded in a portal that give us two main reason. Well, that does not mean that the customer need any Power BI license, or they don't need to do any integration to Power BI. Everything is set up, right? As soon as you create your call flow, all the chain is provisioned for you, right? And using Power BI means that we can customize the template for any call flow, right? And that happens, frankly, quite often, right? People always need to highlight more KPI than the others, and having the report based on Power BI, so give us flexibility to very quickly change the template when that's required, right?
Yeah. And do you give the ability to the customers to be able to create their own reports, or
today
working with you to define the template that they need?
Well, today the way we do it is work with the customer in most cases, right? And we develop we change the template for them, right? So those are very often, things that you can describe on an email. Okay, we change and then we push it, right? We do have we give access to the customer to download their data simply, right? So they can export that report and do whatever they want with that. But today we are still working on a fully, let's say, self-service where customer can change and customize their Power BI. The thing is, we prefer something that is really integrated and you have a chain done as soon as you create a call flow, and then we are trying, to enhance the self-service part, which is much bigger than the Power BI on our suite, right? So it's not only for the reporting, but a lot of things we're giving the customer ability to change them by themselves, right?
Yeah, sure. And there was one thing popped in my head. Yes, that was it. How easy? You mentioned that you can get a contact center up and running within the hour. One of the most frequently asked questions from contact center managers is, can I have the ability to change and modify my call queue or my contact center workflow without having to go to IT to get them to do it? So can you tell us a little bit about your back end in terms of admin? How easy is it? Is it drag and drop flowchart type configuration, or does it require somebody with more in-depth knowledge to manage?
Yeah. Well, first thing, yes, that's definitely possible, and that's one of the things we, by design, actually, we try to give that permission to people, because I personally have been involved on a lot of projects before Heedify, right, in big organization, and I deeply understand this, right, and so We do have our admin portal, which is our portal. Actually, it's not based on SharePoint or whatever, right? So we manage 100% what's in that portal. And when you create your call flow, we give the IT possibility to define a functional admin, right? That functional admin can access to the portal with a functional permission and can do almost all functional things. They will be able to change the opening hour, add holiday days, change message, add an emergency message, change their agent, and all those regular functional work, let's say, are delegated, right, to the team and avoid having the IT involved in any single change, right? So yeah, definitely that's something that we that is really by design, let's say, for the whole solution. Yes.
Cool. I guess the killer question really for me is there are many contact center products on the market for Teams today.
Yep.
Why Heedify? Why should a customer come to you instead of looking at other competitors? What's your unique selling point?
I would say, frankly speaking, is really the simplicity and the flexibility, right? So we have a very, very rich routing engine, right, that is able already today, to do what you could do in UCCX, on Alcatel, and we do have customers that coming from those areas. And the simplicity. So this is a solution that was built for Teams, right? Where we are new in the area, but we are not adapting a solution that was built for Skype for Business, right, or for Link or for whatever. So this is a solution built for Teams, really deeply embedded on it, and that brings all what you need to have all your workload in Teams. So the example I gave in the beginning, I shared in the beginning actually, is that we all have seen customer keeping their contact center in another system with Skype for Business, and they never moved it. That's just the proof that what exists already in the market was not that enough, right? And our promise is really to have the system that is ready to empower the customer to move everything to Teams, right?
Cool. And your operating model, are you do you work with partners or do you work with customers direct, or is it a mixed?
It's more mixed, right? So we started with direct customer for sure, right? So with some small network, and but now we're start working with partner in France mainly. But we are starting to have some of the other partner in Europe, let's say, right? So our second market is the UK. We have, for example, the NHS as some trust in as customer, and we started to develop the partnership there. And coming to Commerce is one of those action actually to develop the network in the UK.
Well, I hope we deliver for you.
Yep.
So. Right, I think that comes to the end of our time with each other. I'd like to thank you for your time and explanation of Heedify, and come and see them at Commerce and have a chat with Mefteh.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mark, and welcome to anyone. Yes. Okay, thank you.